I wanted to share one more thought before I left. It's a thought that's been on my mind this past week, with what happened on the channel. If you're not aware, I was flagged and had to kind of change gears on you know on the channel and everything. I'm now doing no commentary. It's like, um, but it's making me think about my entire life and how it has been, and it's kind of making me reflect on the phrase "be yourself," which is a common phrase. It was pushed on me my entire life. Just be yourself. Be yourself, Alex. You'll do fine. You know. Maybe you got like some big presentation, you're nervous about it, you want to get an A, you're supposed to be yourself. If you just be yourself, you'll be fine, Or there's some hot babe there, just be yourself. She'll be so attracted to your Star Trek quirkiness. Just be yourself. Oh yeah, of course. Um, you know, be yourself. Sometimes being yourself doesn't work out, like this week on this channel. I was myself. I gave my commentary, what I thought was the meaning of the verse, and I was penalized for it. So, um, yeah. Sometimes it's good, like being honest, this is how I am. You can take it or leave it. I mean, that's how it should be. I mean, every human being is quite a bit different and just incredible when you think about it. You think of one human being that you've met and you really think about how they are and their little quirks and their little tweaks. Um, like this one lady, I finally know her name at work. She comes in all the time, very pretty. Just little details about them that you notice and you're like, man, that is an amazing human being, just little things. If we all try to conform to one perspective and identity, wouldn't that be kind of boring? Like, wouldn't we just be like a bunch of ants, drones? I think that's ultimately how they want me to be. See, it was pushed when I was younger, okay? Like, young kid, and then into high school and in college. They give you that common phraseology. Just be yourself, son, you know? And then you become an adult and you enter the workforce and you discover that if you be yourself, you'll get fired pretty quick, Like if I were myself and I gave my own opinion at my old job, I would have been fired in 2 days because I disagree with half of these people. Their perspective on things is like Sodom and Gomorrah or something, It's crazy. It's perverted. I disagree with you. I am not. Um, so, me being myself and expressing how I feel about something turns out I shouldn't be myself because I take it into the school of experience, or I take it into the world. I walk out there into the world and I express myself how I am. People hate me. So the thing that I was taught from the beginning doesn't work when I apply it to my life. It seems like being myself usually ends in everybody hating you. If you're a Christian, a born again Christian, and you are yourself and you express Christ to others, most people end up hating you, or they will hate you, as we're going into this, this next dispensation, I think a lot of people are going to hate you if you are a Christian. Being yourself. Um, that was one side of what I wanted to talk about with it. You know, if I'm a born-again Christian, I want to express Christ to others. I mean, that's ultimately the end goal of it. And then yourself in this existence, aren't you in a conflict with yourself in some ways as a Christian? You know, maybe you're not a Christian, maybe you're, just some guy out there. But, you know, in the Christian walk, aren't you dealing with conflict every day, between the flesh and the spirit? Isn't there a struggle, ongoing struggle going on in you every day? So then, when you express yourself, what are you expressing? Am I an extension of the flesh or an extension of Christ in the spirit? If I express myself to the pretty lady, in the flesh, it can be pretty sinful, especially when you read this Bible, you're like, man, that's, what does Jesus say? Committing adultery with her in your heart, right away. Or if I express something in the spirit, which I tried to do this week, I was very sad. This lady, she was crying in my store because she has to move away, I guess. I don't know the details. I didn't ask the details. I didn't want to be too nosy about it. But very sweet, very pretty lady that comes into our store quite often. And I just tried to be friendly with her and not, anything. Yeah. So I don't know what my point is with that. I'm losing my point now. I had it and I'm losing it now. That was one aspect of it. Being yourself. Can you be that? But anyway, to the title of the video, I'm going to title this video Green-Blooded Vulcan, because it's another Star Trek idea, and it's actually a family issue. In my family, we're big Star Trek fans, on my father's side especially, to which this is the relevance. My brother said it just this week also. He gets frustrated with my father so often because my father will be himself. You know what his self is? Himself as himself is a pure green-blooded Vulcan, 100% Vulcan man. What am I saying when I say that? That's a Star Trek thing. That's a race of people. That's Mr. Spock is probably one of the most famous characters in Star Trek. You don't even have to be a Star Trek fan to know at least a dinky bit about that character of Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock is actually half human, half Vulcan. So when my brother says that my father is a 100% pure Vulcan, he's saying that my father doesn't care whatsoever about the other person when he speaks, He just says it just straight out, like, this person is a moron, or this person died because of this issue, or this happened because, well, obviously it was this. Logic dictates that that person is a liberal Democrat, thus no further explanation is needed. Good day. He'll say it just so straight out, tell you you're a moron to your face, and with no further explanation needed. And he doesn't care if that really hurts you. That's why my brother gets so angry with him a lot of times, because it's almost like a lack of empathy. Doesn't feel anything for the other person, you know. Versus my mother, my brother said, he's a pure Vulcan that married a complete human. She's a total human. Very emotional, sensitive lady, my mother. Um, I think I have more of her than my father, but a lot. I will put on the display of my father a lot of times and be completely silent. My brother or my father can do that a lot of times and be detached and not say anything, but then I never express anything, and so nobody has any idea of what is Alex or who is Alex, What is Alex thinking? I'm not allowed to express it anyway, right? Because it would be too offensive. But if I were my father, I could express it, but then I would get in trouble. So, but anyway, I think I had more to say with this subject, but I think I'll just read a little bit of the Bible now and kind of say what I wanted to say. What was the other point? With the Star Trek and Mr. Spock, I was watching the original series just the other day. A famous episode called the Corbomite Maneuver. Very famous episode where Clint Howard made his debut as the baby at the end of the episode. But anyway, at the start of the episode, this idea is presented immediately. This same concept. There's a human con officer. He's on the pilot seating or the tactical seating there, flipping around all the switches and knobs. And he's piloting the ship, and so they run into this cube thing, and that funky music starts playing, It's really annoying music, whatever. And the guy on this tactical seat, he's like, "Oh my God, it's a cube spinning thing. What are we going to do?" And he expresses himself in that way. Like, he calls it adrenaline. As human beings, we have adrenaline. And then Mr. Spock responds to him and he says, "Yes, Mr. Thompson, that's quite clear that you are dumb. Perhaps one day you should think about removing that before you come on the command deck, you idiot." I'm paraphrasing how he said that, but, he just outright says that, like, remove your adrenaline gland. Because he's a human being with emotions, and he expresses them. He's afraid of the plastic spinning cube, which is funny in itself. But for Mr. Spock to immediately tell him that, and then Sulu's like, "See, if you go against Mr. Spock, you're going to be defeated. I mean, you can't deal with Mr. Spock. His mind is just, he plays chess all the time, that 4D chess, he's like, he's in the 10D chess now." But you see, that was kind of mean to tell him that just outright without caring how that would make that human being feel. No empathy, no feeling. Just says the facts just like it is. And he offends everybody. I don't know. But anyway, I've come to the conclusion, with the channel that, maybe I'm just supposed to read the Bible and not express my opinion. I'm not doing that from the perspective of fear or that I'm worried about losing the channel or um, that I don't want to offend someone. I'm doing it from the perspective that the Word of God is going to change me and transform me by the renewing of my mind. And that's what I want. That's actually all I want to express to people is how powerful the Word of God is. And I want them to see that. And so now I've decided to switch gears and to just read the Bible. And I think that's staying more on task. But I think I'm still going to give these thought videos once in a while, if I have a thought. Sometimes I do have some thoughts. I know, it's crazy. But if we focus on the Word of God, that's what we really want. We want to be transformed into more Christ-like. Do I want to be more Spock-like? I mean, sometimes that's a good thing to just tell people they're idiots, just outright. Sometimes that's good. But then other times, I don't really get my point across the way I would like to get it across exactly, Sometimes I'll just hurt someone or make them angry and they just want to kill me. So I want more Christ. I want more of Him in me, in my life, and to be shared with others. The transforming and renewing of my mind, daily reading this Bible, and He is slowly, day by day, we're walking together. But I saw this note here it's the beginning of Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians. The tenses of the believer's life here indicated are logical. That's why I found this. That's Mr. Spock. It's logic. Logic dictates. Logical, and give the true order. They occur also in verse 3. The work of faith is to turn to God from idols. The labor of love is to serve the living and true God. And the patience of hope is to wait for His Son from heaven. Paul repeats this threefold sequence in Titus 2:11 through 13. I think the renewing of your mind, is that in Romans? I'm not sure, but that's why I know, like, I'm half-blood Vulcan because of my father, so there's a struggle between the human side of me. It's an empathetic, it's a having empathy, feeling for the other person, sensitivity, and it's in conflict with, that's the human side, and then the Vulcan side is logic, science, fact, and no emotion allowed, because emotion clouds the regular thinking. So it's in conflict, those two perspectives. Those are my parents. And then also, when you're born again, that whole mentality, there's that conflict over there, which is that's actually all the flesh, and then that's in conflict with the spirit, which the spirit is more of Christ in me expressing itself in love, in the love of God. So I know I didn't really capture my thinking quite exactly in this video, but I thought I'd share that anyway. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.